Over the past 30 days, I've spent over $1,000 on AI video tools, credits, and subscriptions. And honestly, a lot of it was a complete waste. Not because the tools are bad, but because I was using them wrong. So in this video, I'm going to show you what doesn't work, what actually does, and the exact workflow I'm now using to get way better results. So if you're thinking about getting into AI video, this will save you a lot of time and probably a lot of money. The biggest mistake people make with AI video right now is thinking that the tool is the problem. It's not. It's the prompt. Let me show you. I'll type something like a cinematic shot of a man walking through a city. The results look like this. It's not terrible, but it's super generic. It looks like AI, no direction, no intention. Now compare that to this, a cinematic medium shot of a man in his 30s walking alone through a rainy Tokyo street at night. Neon reflections on wet pavement, slow dolly forward, shallow depth of field, 50mm lens, soft rim lighting, moody atmosphere. Same tool, same model, completely different result. This is the biggest unlock. Better prompts equals better results every time. Now, here's the part that changed everything for me. I stopped writing the prompts myself. Instead, I use ChatGPT or Claude to come up with the prompts for me. I'll give it something simple like write a cinematic AI video prompt for a moody night street scene. And it'll give me something way more structured and detailed than I could have written. And then I just copy that and drop it into Higgsfield. If you're just typing basic prompts into these video tools, then you're leaving a lot of quality on the table. Now, here's where things really started to click for me. Text to video can be good, but image to video is way better. Instead of asking the model to figure everything out, you give it a starting frame. So what I'll do is I'll generate the starting frame using Nano Banana Pro, which if you haven't used it already is the best image generator that there is right now. Nano Banana 2 gives you really good outputs as well, but compared to the rest of the image generators, they're just way better. So once I have that starting frame from Nano Banana, I'll take that starting frame and I'll put it back into Higgsfield, and then I'll input a motion prompt. And now the results look way more cinematic and controlled. This is honestly the biggest upgrade I've found, because now you're not asking the model to do everything at once. You control the look first, and then you add motion second. I would say the next step up now is to use Higgsfield Studio. Once I started using Higgsfield Studio, things got way better, because now you can actually start directing your shots. You can control things like camera movement, shot type, framing, and even camera type. And this makes a huge difference. If you don't tell the model how the camera should move, then it just guesses. But when you start adding things like slow dolly forward, subtle handheld motion, locked off tripod shot, it instantly feels more intentional, more cinematic, less like AI, and more like a real shot. So instead of thinking like a user, start thinking like a director. Let's talk real quick about video generation models, because this is where things can get expensive really quickly. After testing a bunch of them, pretty much every single one that Higgsfield has to offer, here's my honest take. Best bang for your buck right now is Kling 3.0. It's consistent, the motion looks good, and it's way cheaper than most of the others. Also really solid is Google Veo. Both 3.1 and 3.1 Fast are good, but 3.1 Fast is way cheaper. You can get better overall quality in some situations, although it's a little more expensive than using Kling. And then there's Sora, which is good, but it's like $7 for a 10-second Sora Pro Max clip. That adds up really fast. So unless you really need it, I don't think that it's worth it right now. Quick note on pricing, because this caught me off guard. Most of these aggregator video platforms like Higgsfield, which is my favorite for video generation, run on a credit system. So different video models cost different credit amounts. Higher quality clips cost more and longer clips cost more. So if you're topping up your credits, $1 equals 21 credits. So you can see pretty quickly that it can get out of hand, especially when you look at Sora, which costs you over 150 credits for a single video. So if you're just testing things randomly like I was at the start, then you're gonna burn through credits really quickly. Now I'm way more intentional with my prompts, my starting images, and which model that I'm using. And my results are now better while using less credits. So if I had to summarize everything that I learned after spending $1,000 on AI video, it would be this. Your prompt matters more than the tool. Use AI to write your prompts. Photo to video is way better than text to video. Think like a director, not just a user. And be careful with credits because this gets expensive fast. AI video is getting really good, but right now the people getting the best results aren't using better tools. They're just using them better. All right, that's it for this video, guys. I hope that was helpful. If it was, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on my next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.